Today we're going to edit a part. The reason for this edit is there is a minor discrepancy between the end of this part and the end of this part. There's a 0.02 inch portion there where capsules could hang up. So we're going to eliminate this. Not that I expect them to hang up there, but why take a chance? This is how I'm going to go about doing it. Now, before we go further, I want to explain some things about locking down dimensions in Solid Edge. If you will notice, it is highlighted in this direction and the arrow is pointing in this direction, which means, of course, that this dimension is locked down against this hole. And when I edit this, the hole will move in this direction only relative to this hole. All of the other dimensions are locked down in the same direction. You can see by the arrow which way it is pointing as you mouse over the dimension, which way the dimension constraint has been applied or locked down. So anytime I edit 40, it's going to move to my left. Now if I wanted to change that, I could come in here and I could lock down this dimension in this direction. I can lock down this dimension in this direction, and at that point in time these two holes will always move relative to the end of this part here. So there are a number of ways you can create predictable behavior depending on how you lock down parts. If you want to do a family of parts, locking down dimensions to important features is one way of doing this. And for instance, I could grow the overall length to fit different machines. If this hole and this hole and this hole and this hole, for instance, were required to be attached to the end faces, we could stretch this block and have it do so and create a new part simply by editing a dimension or two. In any case, the power of locking down dimensions and how you lock them down is very important. Also, you'll find in a lot of cases, on a corner of a block, for instance, when you apply a dimension, you may find that you've applied the same dimension on another corner without realizing it. So look at what you have and clean up your dimensions before you go any further, and make sure that you haven't over-dimensioned your part. In any case, I want to change the overall length. I've applied some dimensions here that are not driving dimensions, and they will not be editable for the purpose of changing the length of this part, but they do, however, let me know if the overall length of it has changed during any edit. So it's kind of a method of keeping an eye on what's going on during edits. Sometimes there are unintended consequences and you have to be aware of them in order to fix them. And I will show you just such an example. I want to change this to reflect 200 inch. Enter. Enter again. Entering. There we go. Now, you see that shrank there. So we have a problem. In addition to just editing the overall length of the block, we need to take into consideration some other features. Let's back up a step. So we need to include this pattern in our edit. I will select this, and I'm going to add. Let me start over on that. We're going to pick this face. Then I'm going to add this pattern, and we have all the features that we need to do this edit now. So let's go back to the top view. Let's apply our dimensional change again. Enter to accept. Wait while it thinks. You'll notice the pattern disappears. This happens a lot of times with patterns. So the answer is you can step back and you can click on the pattern. If you don't want to be bothered to measure center to center, you look down here and you have your spacing. Write that down and remember it in your count. Let's back out of this. Let's go ahead and redo our dimension as we did before. Select the face, add, select the pattern, edit our dimension, go to the top view. I'm going to window pick this feature. Then we want to go to pattern, long curve, left mouse click the driving curve, right click to accept. By the way, if you go down here, there's a lot of prompts that show up here that will tell you what you need to do next if you're not certain. Left click for the point, left click for the direction. I know that I want this to be a fixed scenario, so now I'm going to add in 9, which is the number, and I'm going to go down here and add 0.472. And we have edited this part. All of the faces, and this is fairly complex geometry, can be easily moved, and we don't have to go back into the history tree to do any of this stuff. I think you can see the power of synchronous here is pretty profound. Thank you for watching.